116th Hotline. It's your girl, Sadie.
It's Valerie.
And this is Sutana. Hey, guys.
Welcome back to another
episode of 116th Hotline. We are a trio of sisters. If this is your first time, welcome.
Watching
if this
or
is
listening.
not your first time watching or listening, well, welcome back.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming back. We appreciate the love and support.
Yes.
We're ready to record. Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready to have another unpacking
discussion.
And
So-
I don't even know what the topic is going to be about.
Yeah.
Sutana's just going to pick.
She's just going to, yeah. We're just going to go ahead and dive into it.
We're just going to dive into it. That way we don't think too
Perfect.
much. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about so there's this podcast that I saw, I think it was like a couple months ago maybe, and it was basically saying that this guy, he was talking about I noticed that when I introduce myself to introduce a person in my life to a group of friends, like they are a representation of a specific part of my life. So for example, this guy was like, oh, like whenever I introduce, it's like basically saying
I saw that somewhere.
Like basically I wanted to talk about that because I was thinking about like how that specifically relates to each of us, because I feel like we all have people in our lives, right? So for example, when you guys introduce like Shelby and them to me, like
my mind is running already.
You know what I mean? Like they represent specific parts of you as an individual,
yes,
right?
Because you are who you surround yourself
yes
with.
So it's like, okay, for me, like when I introduce like you guys to Sandy or like Nolly, it's like like that's a specific part of me that I'm allowing you guys to see, and also allowing the other person to see like, hey, these are my friends for this certain portion of my life. But then I think it also kind of makes up who you are as an individual, and really shows like different parts of you that people don't really see. So I just wanted to like talk about that, and we can like unpack that, but just a general idea, like I wanted to
that's
dive
what we're
into.
starting off with. Okay,
I just thought it was like a brain teaser. Like,
yes.
I like it.
Okay, so
like,
first
that's
thing that popped
amazing,
into my head is like people that you guys don't like I hang around.
Oh,
that's like the first thing that popped up in my head.
That's a good one, sis. I forgot about
we're going hard and heavy.
Because literally, right when Sutana said that, I heard her saying, "Why do you hang around people like that?" Like she always says that. She says that about me all the time. Why do you allow yourself to hang around people like that? And I think that was just like going back to what Sutana was saying, how like like whenever you introduce people to other people that you hang out with, it's like it literally is a representation of yourself. And that just, when Sutana said that, all I could think about was her saying, why do you hang around those people?
It's
Why
like
do you
part
do
of it,
that?
though. Like not fully who you are, but like maybe like a little bit of like part of you,
like a portion
of you.
Yes.
a little sliver of that part of your life.
Yes. So I was like, I know Sutana's thinking about like the good parts and the positive parts. Like whenever I introduce people to Sadie and Sutana, like I'm proud to introduce them to Sadie and Sutana because they're good people. They're honest people. They bring good energy and stuff like that. So like when I do like introduce somebody to Sutana and them, I'm not embarrassed. Like I'm just like, yeah, these are the only two people that I hang out with, like literally. But then also like on the negative effects of this side is like Sutana in my head, why do you hang around those people?
And I don't mean it, and I think that really says a lot about you, because it's like you're realizing like, okay, well, if I make that reflection within myself, right, about the bad parts or like the not so good parts, it's like that also represents that portion of myself, like who I allow myself to be around with and who I choose to keep my energy around with, whether you categorize it as like people that you don't think deserves it or like bad in a way, I guess, versus good. I think that self-realization makes a huge difference too in your life.
You know what I think? I think that I'm living a life that I shouldn't be living. I'm too good for the city. I'm too good for this life. I need to be living in like Bali on an island.
Man, I think we all want to live on an island, okay?
That was kind of off.
That was off topic.
But I always preach this, and I've been preaching this to Valerie for the past, like, I don't know, year now, and I will continue to say this, okay? And just because of, like, after all of the conversations we've had on this, on our podcast before in the past, I've just grown so much to really have that mindset of, at the end of the day, you're an adult. Whatever you do, the consequence is gonna be on you.
But I feel like this year you've really actually stepped into that.
Thank you, brother.
I feel like you were really
Dude.
like. I feel like you've talked about it before, but I feel like
Yes.
you've always had like that, like
She's an
nurturing in a
adult.
sense. But then it's true. It's like even if you care about people, like they are adults at the end of the day. Like they have to like do what they need to do by themselves.
They gotta take the consequences to their own action.
And here's the thing, and it's not just towards like you guys or whatever in general, because I mean, we all know that, you know, we go through everything together. We all
Yeah,
know
of
about
course.
every
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
But I'm also applying that to my personal life, my relationship with my parents, my family, my work.
Your work,
my,
life.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like I'm
Yes.
literally using it and I'm practicing and I'm applying it to everything around me.
You
and
have to.
dude, I've been so much better, like mentally. I'm like, ooh, like I'm gonna let it, like there's a quote that says, if it's out of your control, it should also be out of your mind.
Yes.
And I'm like,
That's so
thank
good.
you. So I've just like been so heavy on that, and I've been really thinking about that. And even on top of that whole, what was the thing with Julie, the healing thing?
Yeah.
Ever since then, I'm just like, I'm such an advocate for myself now.
Good.
As you should be. So beautiful.
Self growth. We love it.
That was a little off tangent too, but it does connect to what we were talking about because I never really thought of it that way, Tatiana.
Right?
Like when you when you introduce your friend, this friend group to another
or
friend
even like
group,
your
and it
significant
shows-
other.
Yes.
That is a sliver of your life that really represents that part.
That
of
really
your
is
life.
because, like, if you think about it, like, if you think about whenever someone has introduced you to another person, were you ever like, ooh, like this is the type of people
Like,
you
red
hang
flag,
out with?
okay.
Because then you're thinking like, wow, you're so nice and they're so like different,
Like almost, like
yeah.
sometimes you're like,
how are you guys friends?
how are you guys even vibe?
Yes.
Now I'm trying to think if there's a situation like that with me, but I mean I don't know. I could be biased. I feel like all of my friend groups, like you can see
we
why
get together really well.
Yeah, like you can see
Yeah.
why I hang out with this group. You can see why I'm with Brian. You can see why, you know what I mean? Whereas, like you said, I think I have seen some people where they're this friend group. I'm like, wait, but I know you're like this. So how is it possible that you're
Or like
friends
you
with
know
this?
that certain friend groups you cannot invite them all together.
See, okay, so then let's
Yeah.
unpack that because
Okay.
it's like that is totally going into a whole nother thing of
Yes.
why don't you?
Why?
And if you feel like you can't introduce like friend groups to another friend group or friends to another friend, why is that? Is that because you're afraid
Or
of what their
significant other.
perception?
Or is it because you have to act like somebody else when you're with this group, and you have to act like
yes.
somebody else when you're with that group?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Let's do a deep dive.
that no,
I don't know how to dive.
That
What's
that,
that?
that, ties
Ready?
in, that,
One,
that
two.
ties into that ties into it too because it's like why don't you?
Yeah.
Why
That's
don't
true.
you?
You know, I was
And-
actually just watching a TikTok this morning where this guy was telling me that like where he lived, he kind of had to change his personality based off fit because the groups that he was hanging around, one was predominantly Asian, so
Yeah.
he liked Asian stuff. One was
Oh, wait, are you talking about that guy who's talking about like Asian friend groups?
Yes, and then one was like predominantly white. So then you
Yes.
had to be like the basic like, oh yes,
Asian
I'm Asian.
token guy,
I
yes.
love boba. You
Yes.
know, like all that stuff.
I love raves.
I love raves, you know. But then, like, whenever he was with like a different group, like he knew exactly how to act and who to
Yeah.
act. And it's just like he hated that because it's like he had to change how he was in his personality based off of the different friend groups. And if you think about it like that, do you think that he would have been able to brought all those friends groups together?
Absolutely
Probably
not.
Or not.
No.
I will have
Probably
to
not.
say, let me just throw a little comment in there. First of all, I see it as talent. That's a lot of acting you got to do. But
Yeah,
second of
period.
all, second of all, I mean that's too much on your
That's too
mental.
much.
That's too much you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Too much of switching up, off and on. However, I low key live that life because my job.
Yes, but I feel like you have like that is your professional life,
That's
and then
different,
your work
though.
life is different.
That-
but his is just like life in general.
Okay.
You know,
But I think that also like for me, I don't know how you guys will, but for me, I feel like I went through that a lot in my early 20s.
Honestly, I'm not
And
even gonna
even,
lie.
like,
A lot of
teen
people
years.
did. A lot of people, I went through that when
It's
as a
hard.
teenager. Yeah,
because it's
you're
hard to
figure it out.
navigate who you want to be, and then also incorporating like friendships
Who
and
you wanna
stuff
be
like that. Like,
around, yeah.
And then I also think like on the outside, like when you're thinking about introducing friends to other friends or friend groups to your other friend groups, you're also thinking about your perception, right? How you look to them if you were to introduce each friend group to each other. Like, you know, I feel like you don't think about it top of mind, but then in the background, like, you know that they're going to judge you.
I think like
you know what I mean?
I think okay, so I think like I think this can kind of like I can kind of relate to it because in the very beginning, I never hung around Nikki and Shelby and Anna like that. It was just because of Sadie.
Yeah.
And so the first time that I ever met Anna was because a random night Sadie was like, do you want to go out? And I was like, sure. And that was the first time I ever met Anna. I think it was just Anna that night. And then that was just Anna. And then I met Anna, and Anna, I love you, girl, but she knows it too. But the first night we met, like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like these party people, because I hadn't been out in like years. And then
was that like fresh out of your? Oh
yes. No, it was whenever I was still married.
Was
yeah,
it?
Yeah, it was whenever I was
I
still
know
married.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And that was the first time that Anna met her man.
Yes.
The same night that Anna first met her man. Yeah. And I had to be the DD and drive them back home.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, I came out and I'm the DD now for these people. I don't know anybody in this car. Because in the car, Sadie was in another car
because their other little cousin was also.
So like I was literally in a car with strangers, like driving strangers. It was me, Anna's friend Cookie, and then Anna's man now, and then Anna in the back, and I was just driving, and I was just like, I'm literally in a stranger's car driving this car, and the one person I know is not even here with me. And so I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, like these are the type of people that Sadie hangs out with now, like,
ooh, okay,
because at that time, me and Sadie, we never hung out like that anymore because I was married, I had kids, and like we just never hung out. You know, ever since I got married, it was just that was it. And then so I was just thinking like, this is what Sadie does now. Like she just goes out every weekend. Like it's so irresponsible. And like, I was just like, I'm literally in a stranger's car driving. Yeah. So I'm just like, what the hell? I'm just like driving. I hear making out in the back. I'm just like, shut. You know.
Dude, it was wild. I totally forgot about that.
But then like afterwards, I don't even remember the next time we hung out. But afterwards, we hung out again, and then I met Nikki and Shelby, and I don't even remember it because it seemed so long ago. But then like we did click, and like me and Anna now, like and Sadie, we all joke about it that exact night because that's the first night she met Armando, and that's the first thing she met me. And it was just like we talk about it all the time about how like I heard them making out in the back, and I was just like, oh my gosh, these people are fucking disgusting. And so I was just like relating to the main topic, sorry, tangent, but relating to the main topic, that was like my thinking with Sadie, like
your first
like oh my god, like she's a party girl now.
She's a party girl now. She goes out all the time. Like
dude, that was my prime time. That was her prime. 24.
Literally, like
literally in her prime.
Huh?
Were you single then?
Yeah.
I think that was your single era.
Her body era. I wore your shirt because you brought your yellow shirt for me. I remember that night so good.
It was, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. That was whenever me, Anna, and Shelby, but mainly Anna and I, we were like out every week.
Every weekend.
We were like fresh out of college, kind of, you know, hanging out, going to concerts. Chris Brown, we were going out every weekend.
Every weekend. And it was just like
living your life as
we should.
Okay, here I am.
And I was like,
I was like, what the fuck?
But then
what is this girl doing now?
The roads have reversed because now they be driving me home.
Oh Lord.
Anna be the one putting a timer on her phone for us to leave at midnight. But I think that that's so funny.
That's a good example.
That is a really good example because that's literally like me introducing friends. She's introducing her friends to me because we've been friends, and then she introduced her friends, and now we're all a big group of friends. And like,
but then that's like a great example of like how
mesh with each other.
The perception changes, like when you introduce different friend groups, or like how your viewpoint of someone can like skew. Like you're like, oh, she's a party girl now, or whatever.
Yeah, because at that time, me and Sadie hadn't hung out in a while, and I was just like, oh my god, like. Damn, I was like, damn, she's wild. Like, I don't know any of these people. She's drunk. Like, I don't know what's going on. But
I think for me, another example that I want to touch on is being introduced to like other family members. Like, for example, like my brother's wife's family, or like my sister's husband's families, or like, you know, your ex's family. It's like,
I think on that, there's like different categories to that because it's like, is it a distant relative, like your own distant relative, or like a relative of a relative, you know, like do you know that person, have you seen that person, have you communicated with that person before? So there's like a lot of different subcategories.
But I think also too, like introducing them in like what type of way, like for me, for the example that I'm trying to give out is like, I think when you're like socially trying to introduce someone, like being friends with them, or like in a social setting, like for example, like introducing Rachel to you guys, right? Like, or introducing you guys to Rachel, and then like introducing her to you guys. Like, I feel like that is a part of me that, you know, just like socially hopefully for you guys to become friends. But then I also think like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you
like
mean.
the point is like you want them to get along.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
like
you
the
get
end
along
goal.
with them.
The end goal is
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
your friend groups to
All
eventually
get along
mesh.
together
Yes.
because you
Yes.
get along with A and you get along with B, and you're hoping that A and B can get along together.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yes.
I get what you're saying. Also, off topic to that too. It's like also it shouldn't be your responsibility to make sure they get along. You know,
That's
it's like we're all
true.
adults.
I need to remember that.
Because that was literally Sadie. Like
I mean,
making sure
that's
all
like
of her
your
friend
thing.
groups.
my birthday
Yeah,
for
that-
long.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, and yes, like granted, like you know, I
Flashback to birthday. No, just
Flashback to
kidding.
birthday.
Yes.
clip here. No, I'm just kidding. It was crazy. But yes, like because I am like, especially if it's for an event that's about me, and this is kind of like relating to that one episode when we were talking about bachelorettes. Remember?
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
like, I mean, it kind of ties in with that. But you know, when you bring, if it's a special event for you and you're the person that people are supposed to come and celebrate, I for some reason I just feel obligated to be like,
Please, everybody.
yeah, hey,
It's
come
the Aquarius
on,
in
know.
you.
It's the what?
It's the Aquarius.
It is the Aquarius in me, bro.
Aquarius girl.
And I'm an empath. That's just how I am. I hate it here. But yeah, so I'm, you know, like even though it's supposed to be me, I'm supposed to be the one celebrating. I'm caring about things. I'm like,
you worry.
how are you doing over here? How are you doing over here? Are you
Yeah,
doing
I would say
it's
you'd be
just-
like, do you want to go there? Do you want to go there? Like, make sure. Me, I'm like, I'm gonna go there. Y'all want to come? Y'all can come. If not, go somewhere else.
That's
Me,
why-
I'm going over there.
That's why I'm more slowly working towards that. That's why my the whole, you know,
you
me
need to be a
mentioning-
Leo.
No, I don't want to be Leo. Lord Jesus. No Leo, no Geminis, even though my freaking friends are Leos and my man's a Gemini. But that's why I'm strong enough to hang around with these people. Don't care about that. But put that on there. Seriously. Put that on a shirt.
That could be the thumbnail clip.
Put that on a shirt.
Oh, the thumbnail we're good now.
Okay. But no.
Wait, that wasn't quick enough.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's so fake.
Okay.
But yes, that's why I've been really, you know, trying to work on the whole mindset of I come first no matter what. Like
Period. As you should.
You know, like my mental health comes first. I'm more important. Yes, I love you and I love you and I love you, but at the end of the day, if it's going to cause my mental, then it's not worth it. You know, whether that's my family, my relationship, my friends. Like, yes, I want to be, you know, what's the word? Cordial, and I want everybody to have a good time. But if you guys, like you said, like she said, it's not my
It's not
responsibility.
your job. You can be a cordial and you can be. Goddamn, we're all damn adults here.
We are adults at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's
We
not
are
my
all damn
responsibility.
adults.
I mean, it's my responsibility for my kids when I was school and I work, but as an adult and for my friend groups, like you said, the end goal is to hopefully make sure everybody mesh well and everybody just
it's not
happy.
your job,
It's not my
like you
job to do
said.
that. Yeah.
All you can do and all that you really do is just introduce them like, hey, this is my friend so and this is also my friend so, and then if they already have beef on the get-go, that is not your fault.
problem.
Yeah.
Not
I
your
don't understand
problem.
why though.
Not your problem.
And I've been trying to do some like deep diving on that too, and I'm like making assumptions and stuff. I'm like, but why am I spending energy on this? Like they're literally their own person. And if you don't
Yes.
vibe with someone, then that's
Then you
on
just
you.
don't vibe.
I'm sorry, but
And
but
that's
please don't
okay.
but please don't make this like a something that will go downhill for me, especially if it's like an important event for me. It's supposed to be celebrating me.
Well, let me tell you this: if people are making you feel like that, they're not your real friends.
Period.
That is all
That's
I'm
true.
saying. Or not even just friends, but if people are making you feel like that in general, they do not deserve your energy or your space,
Yeah.
or they don't deserve to have that much control
Over you.
You.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your
Period.
mental is so much more important than
yeah, in general,
you know.
yes, for sure.
But yeah, my thing that I was saying was like that's the end goal is for them to become friends. But
Yeah,
you're right,
you would
it's
hope
not
so.
it's not your job to make people or friends or whatever families like get along, because at the end of the day, if they don't get along, they just don't get along. And like honestly, like you've done what your goal was
Done
is to
your part.
introduce them, and hopefully they become friends. But if they don't click, then they don't click, and that's fine. Like
and that's fine.
it,
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean,
not everyone is gonna get along.
yes,
and that is
yes,
okay.
not everyone.
Like,
I keep having to remind myself that not everybody thinks like me. Not everybody has the same. Not everybody has the
Your
same type of
mindset.
mentality and mindset. You know,
Yes.
like some people might have, maybe they're battling with their own inner issues. That's why they don't really get along with other people or something. Who knows?
or they're
But-
just like socially awkward,
Or maybe
Socially,
they're
yeah.
just like still in an immature mindset where it's like she can't have friends.
yeah,
Or why does she have other friends than me? Why does she hang out with other people than me?
Yeah.
and that's something that people just need to work on their own,
their own,
and to
yeah.
grow from that. So, like you said, I agree. At the end of the day, I mean, yes, the end goal is for them to become friends and mesh well together, so that it's like all one big happy family.
So it's all cordial,
But
yeah.
I mean, not everything's always rainbows and butterflies and sunshine. So I mean,
Which
you gotta do what you gotta do.
I know.
And you can only do what you can do
Yes.
is introduce them together. Like, hey, this is my friend B, this is my friend A,
And to be honest, like on the flip side, even if I don't like somebody, I won't be the type of one where like if you introduce me to them, I'm gonna be like, ugh.
no,
Like,
I'm gonna be cordial for you.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm
Just
your
because
friend.
I love you, or hopefully people around me feel the same way. But like because of you, or because I love you so much and I really value you in my life, I will be respectful
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
At
courtesy
least that
to
much.
you.
Yes.
Because I mean that's just basic manners. Like
Yeah,
even
because
if I don't
if
like
you
someone,
were to do something like that, would reflect off of
Me.
that friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
that introduced you.
now
to
if
them,
it's on the other side, like some individuals that I don't like that Valerie hangs out with, I won't associate myself. So I think it's really just one or the other, because like I feel like if you really do
I feel like in that scenario though, Satana loves me enough, and I know that Satana loves me enough. That's why she's acting. That's why she doesn't interact like
Interact,
that.
yeah.
but I think there's levels to that too, right?
Yes.
So it's like, if you really just don't like someone because of what their values are, or what you know of them and how you've seen them interact with, people that you love, aka Val, right? Then I will be like, okay, because I know what you've done and I've seen what you've done, I don't want to associate myself with you.
So you're just not gonna put yourself in the first place.
Yeah, but I think if it's someone enough where I know that she truly cares about them and that's her friend, then yeah, I will, I'll be like, nice and cordial. But then if it's someone that she's just hanging around, I'm like, nope, if I don't associate myself with them, I don't associate myself with them.
Hey, that's a lot of great self-awareness. I love that. Like you mean
You have to be, girl. I'm telling you. Energy is
Self-awareness.
so important.
Seriously, you gotta
And
protect your
clear
energy
communication.
at all costs. Your own energy at all costs.
Yes, because do not let anybody take your fucking energy. That don't deserve it.
Back onto the
Topic.
introducing to relatives. I feel like that's a really good one too, because it's like when you do introduce somebody to your family, like, are you like, hey, this is like my sister, blah, 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 or like, hey, this is my cousin. Like, I feel like you introduce them really based on like how close you really are,
like how
what do
you
you mean?
personally like on a level like feel like I feel like for you and your aunt, the one that's like the same age as you, like I feel like since you guys are closer in age, maybe it'd be like, oh, like here's my aunt, but then like she's like also my friend, like blah blah blah, like versus just like, oh, this is my auntie.
Okay. That's what you mean. Yeah. Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah, I'm super close with all of my cousins back in Fresno. Like, especially the one that's my age. We grew up. I never really, as kids, I never knew that she was my aunt. I've always thought she was my cousin because we're the same age. Because we're the exact same age. So I always viewed her as my cousin until we got older. And my mom's like, no, she's your aunt. She's Thai. You gotta call her Thai. I'm like, why is she Thai? She's young. She's actually a few months younger than me. She goes, so it's so crazy to think about my grandma and my mom being pregnant at the same time. It's so weird. I mean, that's a lot of mom.
But that was like that's like the norm.
It's the norm. Yeah, it's so crazy to me. But yes, that's true. Whenever I introduce her, I will say, like you said, exactly in that type of tone, like, oh yeah, she's my auntie, but then like in
She's
a
my
more,
friend too.
Yeah.
Like also like you introduce them like how close you are
How
to them.
close you are.
And honestly, I do that.
I
do
do
that.
too. Like
So-
whenever I introduce Sadie, I say this is like my sister.
I tell my coworkers, like, whenever I'm talking about y'all, I'm just like, oh yeah, my sisters and my nieces, my nephews. I literally just say that.
Yeah. But then if it's like someone you're just like, oh, related to you, like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah, that you're like that's what I'm saying. Like it depends if they're like a distant relative or not. You just be like, oh, this is my cousin, or you'd be like, yeah, this is my cousin from like way back, like we've hung out, like it kind of reminds me of like whenever we would go travel to Minnesota when we were younger, and then like dad's side of the family, we're like, oh yeah, that's our cousin.
it's like,
but then like my
then your
mom's side of the family, we're like, oh, that's our uncle.
You know what's crazy? I think it's like a universal thing where people are just tends to gravitate towards their mom's side more than their dad's side.
Yeah, because me and Sadie were talking about that on the way there, and like Sadie's is like that too.
Yeah, like my aunt from my dad's side, my actual dad's sister lives in Minnesota. And then my mom, whenever my mom called us, she was like, why are you guys staying in a hotel? Why don't you just go stay at Auntie blah blah blah's house? And I'm like, oh yeah, why
really,
didn't I
Mama?
I was like, like yes, they're my auntie, but I'm not close to them like that. And she's older with kids, and I'm just like, I wouldn't feel comfortable if my dad's not there with me, type of deal. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, a weird thing.
No, that's so funny that you guys said, because I really feel like that is true. I think a lot of people more do gravitate more towards their dad their mom's side. But I think that also has to do with family dynamics too. Overall. And now we're like on a tangent, but I think overall, like, it really depends on like your experience with that side of the family too.
Period.
Depending on how close you guys are. I think surrounding yourself, I mean, we always talk about this, like, who you surround yourself with is so important.
It's a reflection of you.
It is really a reflection of you.
Yeah. Can I just throw in there really quickly?
Sure.
And also, like,
Go ahead, unpack that.
Whenever, like, whoever you surround yourself with, just please make sure that you are your most authentic self.
Ooh.
You know, like
I could not imagine not being myself.
Like Val said, with the whole situation of that dude that has to just kind of
Based off
change
of the
based
different
on the groups and the crowd. Like, that's too much work. And at the end of the day, like, maybe you're probably going home thinking, wait,
Who am I? Yeah,
Who am I? And this can be referring back to even our self-identity episode.
Yeah.
Insert here.
It is, because it's like I shouldn't have to change myself. Even if I'm introducing you to this friend group or this friend, I shouldn't pretend. And I think a lot of us, all three of us, we have experiences where you've gotten introduced to someone and like the person you know start acting different.
I've seen,
you know, and you're like, what's going on?
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen something and I'm like, wait,
like,
this ain't you? Like, it's so
apparent, and it's like,
so apparent.
bro, you never act like that.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, you never act like that.
It's kind of like those stupid little like scenes in from movies where like the
yes, we're talking about Val. No, just kidding.
Oh, wait, let me think. Has Val done that?
Absolutely. Whenever Tiana's with her, some people.
Which people? Well, guys, I'm lost here.
I have a.
God damn it, I'm lost here.
I have a lot of friends.
Whenever Satana is with her in-laws, whenever Satana, it has to be a different version of herself.
A certain type of people.
Whenever Satana has to be a different version of herself around other people because of the people that she loves. Like, she has to act like a more different Satana. I'm just like, it gives me the ick. I'm like, it literally gives me the ick because I'm like, I know her authentic self. So like, it kind of makes me sad. I'm like, man, she gotta make herself like that.
First of all, it's honestly very sad.
It is sad, and it gives me the ick. But then I'm like, I get it.
That's different though.
But that's different. But I get that. Though.
Yeah.
So I get it.
But I think so. That part, yes.
And that's why I'm like, damn, are you not tired when you go to bed? You're like, time to clock out.
No. So, but then Satana, I get it. I think you're saying it's different because of the, like you said,
way of life.
Yeah. Circumstances. Now, I think what she was trying to also mention earlier is some people that they just choose to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if
I wouldn't say choose to, but like they just do it like they know that they have to do it in order to keep that friendship.
So they're choosing.
Yeah, they're choosing.
See, whereas your situation, which sounds, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking for you or not. You don't necessarily have a choice type of situation. Am I correct?
Correct. Like I think about it a lot, but then I'm like, you know, I
stop it because I'm about to cry. No, I'm just kidding.
Why?
Because it's just sad. It's so sad.
I do get sad thinking about it, but then you also sad. But then I get the ick, and I'm like, I'm not sad anymore. I'm disgusted.
But well, I think for me, it's like, you know, I always say like it's my way of life, and I think I think about the alternatives, and I'm like, okay, if like it also gives me the ick, but then I'm like, it's my way of life, and I choose to live this way. You know, I have a choice to not live this way, but then at the end of the day, like, I know what the solution is, and like
the Lulu is the Solulu.
Yes. It's in some cases, yes.
Yeah, and
the Lulu is the Solulu.
It's so much easier said than done, obviously, type of situation. So we get it. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna be here for you. You know, be the cushion for you to.
Like, what even brought us here?
You were talking about how you have to like switch your personality whenever you're around somebody else.
And I was saying, like, I could never imagine, like.
But then, every kind of went off a little tangent of her. But there's other people out there, like you said, that are in friend groups where they like, what I'm trying to say is they choose to act like that just to fit in with that group. But then whenever they go with somebody else, then you're like that's not really you. I mean, or is that you the whole time and you're acting in front of me?
That is a good perception.
Yes, because like I think I've experienced that with like my ex. type of situation. Yeah, it was disgusting.
Oh, you better
Because I'm
come
thinking-
out.
No, but, and I'm thinking about it, I was like, wait, hold on, like, because, you know, obviously it's been years now, but then when I found out some more things, and I'm like, wait, but when I was with you the whole entire time, you were never like that. So like, so this entire time you were like putting up a facade.
Were you putting up a facade for me or for them?
For them, like, which one is it?
Which I can't tell.
Like, you don't know the real them.
I don't know the real them.
Yeah, that's...
Two faces,
And
don't
here's
know
the
who
thing.
to talk to.
And at the same time, I'm like, first of all, do you even know who the heck you are?
Period.
That's probably
not.
it, dude.
They
I don't
probably
even know.
not.
And those
That's
type of situations that get you questioned, and it's like, dude, just pull yourself out of that situation.
That's like
I
that
ain't got time
saying
for
where it's
it.
like whenever somebody is talking shit about somebody else to you, like heavy,
Uh-huh.
it's like, damn,
They're
are they talking shit up to someone else about you?
Yes.
that way too.
I,
Yeah.
that way,
I
'cause
absolutely 100%
she-
It says a
believe
lot
that.
Because
about
damn,
their
especially if they
character.
reach out to you just to talk shit and they going on and on and on, and you're like, damn, you know all that. How much are you telling other people about me?
Because I sure have been opening up to you.
Bro,
So you gotta
for
really.
real.
It's just like one of those things where you really got. As we get older, we just really gotta start watching what we're saying, who we're telling.
Okay,
our, you know.
But on the topic
situations
of talking shit, I saw this TikTok yesterday,
stupid.
and this guy was like, when you're like trying to talk shit, and he's like, and when you're with your coworker and you're trying to talk shit about something, and you're like, you have to feel it out. And
Oh yeah, you're like,
and they're
hey,
like,
so Sarah?
Hey, so Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about Sarah? So she's, and then he's like,
She's,
And they do that?
yeah, and then they're like, God, okay, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I
So
saw that one.
stupid. It's so crazy. I mean, and dude, we're referencing a lot of our episodes because this can even also be referring back to that one episode. What is it called? Was it gossiping?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, it just
But-
really it touches on a lot of different points because I think it's not just the introduction is just the beginning of it, and then I think everything else it just really falls into
Full circle moment.
Yeah.
literally. Everything is connected, and I love that we can refer back to a lot of points that we have talked about because I mean it just proves to you that we really know what we're talking about.
It's reoccurring.
It's recurring.
Like
Yeah.
if you're living a life in general, like you're gonna always experience one or the other, like at least one of these things. In whatever scenarios or friend groups or life groups or family groups or whatever, you're always bound to experience one of those scenarios or situations, you know?
Okay, so ladies, what's one big takeaway from this conversation for you guys?
Okay.
Gonna go.
I think for me,
Or about.
Wait, you go first.
oh,
We'll go in order.
Man, I was
Oh my gosh, somebody get her.
I was gonna ask.
Somebody
Okay,
come get her. She dancing like a...
Okay, I can't say that on here.
you didn't even know what I was gonna say.
Dance like a what?
teacher.
Yeah,
Teachers don't
dude.
dance.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they say
Hey,
A, B,
my
C.
man.
No, they say, I don't want to be a chicken. I don't want to be a duck, so I shake my butt.
What is that?
You never
It's
heard
a
of
chicken
that?
dance.
They say those words?
Yes,
I don't know
I
if
don't
they say
want to
butt.
be a chicken. I don't want to be a duck, so I shake my butt.
No,
never heard the lyrics.
I don't know what school you went to.
I've never heard of the lyrics.
That's what's the
Yeah, it's I don't want to be a chicken.
Oh, jeez. If you know the words, let us know. Let us know
never heard
because
of the
Valerie's
lyrics.
saying "shake your butt." I don't think
So
so.
I shake my butt. That's when you do that. When you
I
go
don't-
down. It's
yeah.
not just.
That's all that's the only one I know.
No.
Jamie Neutron. Okay. Anyway.
Anyways, off topic.
Sorry,
ADHD.
Jixie, you almost told us.
Did we just say
Stop
the same thing?
Yes.
She didn't get. You're supposed to say the same.
Oh
My gosh. Did we really just say the same thing?
Question mark.
Okay, all right. Anyways, yeah, keep that in because it's fun. It shows personality. My main takeaway from this.
Yes. What's your main takeaway from this episode?
Golly, one at a time, sis. Okay, I would say be your most true, authentic self, whatever group you're at, so that at the end of the day you can sleep
True
at
to
night.
yourself. Yes.
True to yourself, because you don't want to put too much in there just to like satisfy other people.
Yeah.
You gotta satisfy your own self first, baby.
Period.
Hey, what about you?
My greatest takeaway from this episode is if you cannot be yourself around all different type of friend groups, then maybe none of those friend groups are for you.
If you can't be
Like, be the same person
Yeah, if you
across
can't be
all
the
of
same person across all groups, then maybe like you're not really with this group that you're supposed to be with.
Ooh,
you know,
that's
like,
true. Like they don't love you really for you.
Yeah, like because they shouldn't be like making you feel that way. Like if the people in the room that you're with make you feel uncomfortable, you're in the wrong room. You need to leave.
I like that. Uncomfortable.
Marion.
Agreed.
Next.
My takeaway from this episode is be careful who you surround yourself with, because if you are scared or worried about introducing them to other people in different parts of your life, they don't deserve to be in your life. Like if you're scared or worried about introducing someone to other people in your life.
And like devil's avocado for that, it's like, why are you scared? Maybe you should just have a conversation with them first. Like,
yeah, like, or you know, I feel like if you're scared to introduce somebody to other people in your life, that should already be, like Sadie said, a red flag. Like,
or you can just be honest, like, hey, like, I was kind of like iffy about like introducing you to these people because I didn't know if you guys would get along or not. Just opening up.
I really like that, Valerie. Just having an open conversation with like your close friends, because you know, I mean, or just friends in general.
Because
like,
especially if you've been friends with that like both parties for a long time, like it would suck to lose that relationship. So just be like, you know, I was really worried about introducing you guys because I didn't know if you guys would get along. Like I hope that you guys can get along. Like I will still love both of you guys equally.
Just having
that's so crazy. I've never had to do that.
That's crazy. It is really crazy.
I think it's like, but I know other people can relate though.
Yeah,
right, for
other people have probably gone through it.
Yeah,
because it's my way or the highway.
For real.
Period.
I'm the type where I'm like, bye, bitch.
I'm like the empath.
Thank you.
I like that.
Next.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of
that's what Valerie says, but you know, I don't know.
A little bit of me is like the whole like Satana thing. Like, okay, well, bye, do suit you, but then like a lot of part of me is the Val, like where, okay, well, let's talk about this, bitch. You know, just because I'm
this is
like
Sadie.
the way
This is
how I
Sadie.
am.
She's such an empath.
So how do you feel? How do you feel? Why do you feel like that?
Okay, I was gonna to speak on that. Do you feel like I was like that whenever we went to Minnesota and I was talking to Cynthia? Remember, we had a conversation. We were in the bed. Remember?
I don't remember. I think I was asleep.
No, you weren't. She was on her phone. But then Cynthia came out. Erin came out, and I was asking Cynthia, you know, just like, hey, how's life? And then she went on a whole thing about her and her sisters. And then I literally feel like I'm a natural therapist, and I think I need to go to school for this because
and Sadie was like, oh, she said that.
But then I'm so like involved in the conversation and I'm really invested, and so I'm like, wait, but why though? Why do you think she says that? Why? And I'm like, wait, so you really feel like that? Like,
yes,
I remember.
You know what it's called? It's called you're a good active listener.
No, I remember that because I remember when Sadie kept saying, but why though? Why? And then Cynthia kept saying, I don't know. Cynthia kept saying, I don't know.
But not just with Cynthia too, but because I mean I haven't seen her for a while, and love that little girl. I remember watching her grow up too, you know. So that's why I feel like I just feel like I have such a big sis.
Yeah.
I have such a natural mother instinct for everybody around me.
That you really do have.
That's what I'm saying. And I remember Katie, little shout out Katie.
Hey.
Oh, miss you. I remember back in high school, we had a whole situation. We're gonna talk about this later off camera. But Katie told me, because Katie and Rosie was involved too. And then we went to school. Katie said something about, Sadie, you know what? I feel like I can see you in the future being,
as a therapist.
No, as a therapist or one of those motivational speakers that goes in like TED Talk type of person. And, you know, and I was like, oh, really? And then, but then, yeah, because that situation, which we're not going to include in here.
And this is our TED Talk now.
This is our TED Talk.
Hey.
Literally, thank you. Katie saw from miles away. But yeah, and because I'm just such a, like you said, active listener, and I'm really invested in people's lives, and I just want to make sure everybody's okay type of situation, you know?
That's a good word, active listener. You really are. Because me, I am not a good active listener.
Me either. Like, I listen.
After you're talking, I'm like, I disassociate. I'm just like, you're getting boring. I'm literally, I stopped listening to you 5 paragraphs ago.
Literally.
Dude, I'll listen, and then I'll ask some questions, and the conversation will go on and on. I'm like taking notes. I'm like,
and I'll be like, okay, like I'll try. You know, whenever you try to end the conversation, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I do that.
And the city's like, but why?
Yeah,
but why though?
And
Like, what's going on?
I'll be like,
I don't fucking know.
I'm trying to dig in deep for y'all, okay? I'm not trying to be the therapist for a free therapist, and then you're just trying to run away.
Sadie's like, Shanti, dig deeper.
Sadie's like, get back here, unpack.
I need some unpacking right now. I don't know. It's just natural. Maybe I really should become a therapist.
You probably should.
I know.
That'd be
Or
cool.
like because I was thinking about counselor. That's
You
for school
would be
kids.
a really
counselor.
Yes.
You would totally be a good
I
counselor.
know.
Like
Even-
honestly,
even-
I could see that.
Even my counselor was telling me, she was, Sadie, seriously, if you're interested, come talk to me.
I think you
and
should.
I'm like, okay.
I think you would definitely fit that role.
I feel like I would. I
I feel like
don't know.
you would like that a lot better than teaching.
Ooh.
Because you'll still
Don't
be
get
with
too far now.
kids.
No, I'm just kidding. But
Because
no,
you'll
yeah,
still
yeah.
be with kids,
But I'm
which is
actually-
what you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Digging deep with the kids, like individual kids too.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in the future. I mean, I don't want to talk about school right now, but yeah.
Period.
Okay. Per.
Okay, let's not talk at all.
As always, we upload a new episode every Monday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor,
Apple
Podcasts.
Podcasts.
7. Ooh, okay.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us,
And share. Mostly share.
and sharing is free. If you
Yes.
guys liked a certain part of this podcast episode, let us know.
Or didn't like. Nah, we don't care.
Yeah, let us know. Have you had to introduce someone to a different people in
group.
your life or
Yeah.
whatnot, and did you have to go through any of those experiences? If so, we are very interested to hear your point of
What,
view.
what were your
Let us know.
obstacles?
We
Yeah.
want to hear it. We wanna
And
hear
how
it.
did you get through it
Yes.
over that?
Yes.
Let us know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week for a new episode.
Also, I just want to quickly mention, don't forget to check your DMs to our Avid listeners.
Oh, yes. Check
We
your
have a
DMs
very, very
because
special
our
event.
party is coming up next week. And we will be doing another episode recap on that too.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, we will, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.